Travis Goldie says, what do we Catholics do when we find ourselves allying with patriotic and conservative groups that react to the woke movement with wrath and hate? Who does that?
Yeah.
Do you know of one? I don't know. Then with virtue, how do you avoid losing charity for neighbor while taking on the left? Maybe that's a good kind of general question.
One distinction that I sometimes will make is that I think is helpful is, well, there's a scene in The Sixth Sense when you're introduced to the mental illness, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. You know, Haley Joel Osment, I can see dead people. He encounters a girl who has passed away. Anyway, if you think about the disease or its mental illness, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, there are three people.
Okay, I'm sorry. You have to explain what that is. It sounds so cool.
Oh, sorry. I just assume people know.
No, I don't. People might, but I don't. Yeah.
So it's this really disturbing mental illness where a caregiver, oftentimes a mother, usually a mother, exaggerates and vents sickness in her child, and oftentimes causes it. So in the scene in the movie, the little girl's died, and she gives Haley Joel Osment, the character who can see dead people, a videotape. Give this to my father at my wake. Have him play it. And in this videotape, you see that the mother was poisoning her food.
This clip was sponsored by Hallow, and I have to say it's very easy to promote these guys because their app is probably the best app I've ever used. Not just Catholic-wise, but just all apps ever. If you want to grow in your prayer life, if you want to learn how to meditate, if you want to listen to excellent Catholic audiobooks, you can't go past Hallow. Go to hallow.com/Matt, sign up over there, and you will get access to the entire app for free for 3 whole months. So what do you got to lose? Here's the answer.
Her food.
My gosh.
So there are multiple people in this story, the child, the father, and the mother. Mm-hmm. The child is a total victim of the poison and would have needed healing and help. The father was an unwitting participant. Mm-hmm. He was not complicit because he had no knowledge. And the mother was the sinister actor, or maybe disturbed actor. So I analogize that to the woke movement, that there are people in the movement who have adopted the poison, but they're really victims of this movement, right? Either through wounds that have been manipulated or through lies and, deformation that they grew up with. Then there are people who think this is a movement of goodwill, don't understand the actual ends, and maybe they have negligence and not knowing, but they're more sympathetic. They just kind of need to be enlightened. Mm-hmm. And then there are people who just need to be stopped. And I think that as Christians, we can make the mistake of seeing the victim as our enemy, or we can make the other mistake of seeing the people who are the sinister actors of people we just need to accompany. Yeah. We just need to befriend them. Some people just need to be stopped. So I think we have to understand it in that kind of nuanced way.
That's really helpful. It's a helpful analogy. Thank you. Yeah, certainly we can be unsympathetic. You can imagine somebody who's having to undergo all of this propaganda through their favorite movies, through the NFL, through the NBA, and they're just so tired of it that it makes them callous to somebody's real pain of gender dysphoria or same-sex attraction. And that's not a place we want to be as Christians. We want to love people and try to understand their stories. So that's good. But on the other side of the spectrum, there are enemies that exist. And it's funny to me that in the church today, I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm not accusing anyone specifically, but I'd be surprised to see bishops say that there was as enemies of the church who are within and without it. And yet, if you look at that beautiful prayer on the miraculous medal, which you're wearing right now, it says, O Mary conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. But the full prayer is, and for those who do not have recourse to thee, especially the enemies of the church and those we recommend to thee. So there are enemies of the church, unless you want to disagree with this private revelation. And I just don't see a lot of people calling those enemies out. I was gratified to see Bishop Barron speak strongly against those
the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence,
the gross people.
Yeah. And Bishop Strickland, he came out to LA and was part of the march.
So glad to see that. But we have to, in order to fight the enemy, you have to name it. And sometimes that, and you name the enemy not to destroy the enemy, but to protect the flock, and then to, if God will allow it, to convert the enemy, I suppose.
Yeah. When you have to look at things with reality, right? And that part of that reality is that there are real enemies.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.